Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to our today's program. Today we are the 8th of September 2018. Once again I say welcome to our NJO LEO program, or again in English it's Today is the Day. The days that I will share with you the news, put you through or show you what has been taking place in the Congo Democratic. So for that reason, I will invite you to be with me for some time that we'll spend together, and we are going to think, analyze, and discuss or talk about the whole issue or most of the recent issues that have been taking place in the Congo. My name is Odon Bulamba. I'm going to spend some time talking to you and also asking for your attention, your contribution if you can, and you can also chat with us, meaning that you can write something if you want to. And if this is your first time to watch our programs, I will invite you to join us. You can subscribe and become one of ours. And from time to time, if you want to listen to our programs, you can click on the bell which is down here, and this bell will alert you from time to time whenever we post a video. So without taking longer, let me just dive into our headlines. First of all, in Beni is in the North Kivu. One of the priests, known by the name of Vincent Machozi, was killed on the 21st of March 2016. And those who killed him, the murderers, were under arrest, but yesterday, on Thursday the 6th of September, the Court of Law has decided for those murders to walk free. And we'll look at how Mr. Machozi, Vincent Machozi, the priest Machozi, how he was killed and why, what is behind this scenario, or what is hidden behind this assassination. The second point is that I will talk about. It's about the train accident which took place in the Congo and has led 3 people to lose their lives. So the train derailed, and the train was just a good train, as we say, train which carries goods, and it was leaving a corner of the Congo which is known as Likasi, and it was heading toward Kamina. So somewhere around Tenke, at 25 kilometers away from Tenke, that train had a crash and 3 people were killed. But we still wait and see, because so far we don't know the number exact of how many people have perished. We're still waiting and hear from the authorities what happened exactly and how many people are killed, and we'll give to you details as long as we know what took place. In the province of Congo Central, 2 people also were attacked by armed robbers. So one was killed in Matadi and another one was killed in Gambo. So there were 2 different attacks in 2 different places in Congo Central, and as consequence, as a result, 2 people lost their lives. That took place on the 6th of September 2018. And finally, I'll talk about the presidential election in the Congo. So candidates start to speak up, candidates start to show up themselves and start to talk about the election. However, although the election, we are not sure if it's going to take place or not, Felix Tshisekedi, the president of UDPS, has gathered his population, has gathered his members, and he wanted to, he started to do a fundraising to prepare his campaign. So that fundraising campaign was done on Friday, which was yesterday, the 7th of September 2018. And during that campaign, Felix Tshisekedi invited those members, those leaders of the opposition who were the other time rejected by the Court of Appeal in the Congo to join, to trust UDPS, to join UDPS, to put their power, their strength together in order to go forward for the elections and defeat Kabila. We'll develop that during our analysis at the end. So in the same way of the elections in the Congo, we have seen also the people of Ensemble pour le Changement, which is a political party of Moïse Katumbi. Those people have decided not to go to the election without Katumbi. They insist that their fight is about inclusivity and also credibility for the coming elections. So for them, without Katumbi, no election will be held, or again, they will not participate at any election without their leader. So these are the points that I'm going to develop with you, and without wasting a lot of time, let's go to the main point. Here we go to Beni. Beni is in the North Kivu, in that province, in the night of the 20th towards the 21st of March 2016. The chief of one of the villages, the chief of a village known as a Bashu village, the chief invited population to gather together and to start to think about, to have like a session of reflection, to start to think about peace around Beni and Butembo. As you know, Beni and Butembo has been like a bed, like a lake of insecurity in the Congo for the past several years. So he invited a number of people to come and discuss about peace in the region. So this priest Vicente Bachozi, was one of those who were invited to take place. Unlikely, once he stepped in that center, which was known as Center Mumbo Village, my good village, in that center, he didn't come out alive. He was attacked, he was killed inside there. So after his death, the chief of that village, Bashu, with some people around him, were under arrest in order to investigate the death of this priest. However, on the 6th, shockingly, the judge stood up in the courthouse and said, this man, the chief, which is known as Paluku Abdul Kalemeira III, the third, was acquitted. With all those who were under arrest, were arrested with him, all of them were acquitted, were given freedom to walk free from the courthouse, because the proof which were presented by the prosecutors didn't convince the judge, or again the proof was not enough, sufficient to convince the judge that those people should face justice. Many people around Beni and Butembo were shocked with that outcome, because the verdict, according to them, was unfair. And we all know in the Congo, many people of the Congo know very well that such things happen. Whoever wants to speak loud, whoever wants to stand for the peace, very often they will make you to disappear, or they will make you to pay the price, and that can be anything. We'll pass straight away to our next point, which is in Tenke. There was a train accident in Tenke. And as I said, the train was coming from the goods train. The train that carries goods was coming from Likasi toward going to Kamina. And that the train was loaded with a lot of goods. It's a carrier. The carriers were loaded with a lot of goods. And once the train reached Tenke, Tenke is in the province of Lualaba, for those who don't know. And the train stopped at Tenke, where it took some passengers. The rule of the national company, which heads the trains companies in the Congo, does not allow that a commercial train, the trains that transport goods, can also transport passengers. There is a restriction there. However, that night, the train took passengers together with the goods. Unlikely, 25 kilometers away from where they were picked up, the train derailed. So 3 carriers just turned around, turned over, and people lost their lives. As you can see behind me, this is the way normally that trains carry people in the Congo. So some people sit on top, others are just, hanging around, and that's the way that it is. And goods can be inside, but people are just trying to fit themselves wherever they can in order to reach their destination. So the train just things went wrong, and the train killed 3 people so far. They continue to remove goods, they are continuing to search the train, and maybe today, maybe the next day, we'll know exactly how many people have lost their lives during this accident. And once we are aware of that, we will also keep you up to date with the information. But so far, only 3 bodies have been found, and more than 80 people have been injured. So if we look carefully at this situation of the trains conditioned in the Republic Democratic of the Congo, especially those who carry the goods, are in very poor conditions. There is no warrant of fitness, I should say. Rails conditions themselves are quite poor. Most of them have dated since the time of colonization. So it has been, they have been there for a very long time, with less really service, with less maybe attention to be paid to. So I may say that although the train had the accident, the accident may also be to the carelessness of the government, of those who are supposed to be like the leaders, the number one, those who take care of the train companies. Our condolences to those families who lost theirs during this accident. We go to Matadi in Congo Central, in central Congo. In that province, 2 people lost their lives. And both situations took place in the same region, in the same province, and almost at the same time. The first attack was 3 men, armed robbers. That was in Matadi. 3 armed robbers in Matadi attacked a man who exchanged money, because in the Congo, banks very often don't exchange money. It takes so long, and sometimes even they don't have money. So human beings, some people have been doing those type of business. On the street, they'll exchange currencies, different currencies, and that's the way that they live. That's their way of living. So those bandits, those armed robbers came, they shoot. I mean, first of all, they opened fire in air 3 times to create a panic. Then they took the bag full of money of one of those people who exchange money. So the 3 armed robbers, they took also a motorcycle. And they left. Unlikely, because there were 3, one of them were not quick enough on his feet maybe, and unlikely or likely he fell in the hand of the population. So the young person of Matadi, the youth, they beat him up to death. So the 2 vanished with the money, with the motorcycle, they disappear. No one could see them, no one has found them so far, but one was beaten to death. That was in Matadi. If we go to Ngembo, another village in the same area, which is in the territory of Kasangulu, on the same date, on Thursday, the 6th of September, this other person was attacked by armed robbers, and he was also put to death. But so far, we don't have a lot of information about this second person. But the authorities of that area in the sector of Luila, they have promised, the provincial minister has promised that whenever the information will be available, it will be given to us and we'll let you know the outcome. Without taking longer, we go to the presidential election in the Congo. So Tshisekedi is one of the 4 leaders of the opposition, or I will say the big opposition in the Congo, because there are 18, who has been appointed by the political party to represent them as their candidate at this coming presidential election. So therefore, a campaign to raise money, a fundraising campaign to support Tshisekedi has started this last Friday, the 7th of September. And during this campaign, during this fundraising process, Felix Tshisekedi invited his colleagues of the opposition, leaders of the opposition who were disqualified the other time by the Court of Appeal. And he told them, look, you people who were invalidated, you people who were colleagues who were put aside by the court, I would like you to join UDPS, to join my political party by giving trust, by trusting us, vote for us. And once we lead the country, once we take the power, we will govern all together. And he continued to also to talk not only to the leaders of those leaders who were put aside or who were excluded, who were maybe discouraged by the Court of Appeal. He continued to tell also his militants, the members of the UDPS, he continued to tell them that they should avoid quarrels, they should avoid problems with members of other political parties, opposition political parties. Meaning that from time to time there may be exchanges, there may be quarrels among, political members, member of any entity or political entities in the Congo. So he was preaching them to say, look, you have really to be in good relationship with others. You have to stand on your feet, love them like your brothers, because we are all members of the same family. We shouldn't have quarrels, problems, or again, divisions. Somehow that's what you was passing on as a message. So Tshisekedi so far, because he's a candidate for the presidential election, somehow he considers himself as the boss of the country, maybe the president so far, the future president of the country, I should say. For that reason, he said, his mission is to reconcile the population of the Congo. And his job is not to persecute them. Therefore, he even told those who are, behind Kabila, those who surround Kabila, Joseph at the moment, he told them they don't have any problem. They will not have any problem if Tshisekedi becomes the president. So they will have the right to live in the Congos, meaning that they don't have to flee the country. They have to stay in the country. There won't be any problems against them. And it's not because they belong today to the family of Kabila or they support Kabila, then they have to go to jail or they must be killed or maybe executed. So Tshisekedi reminded them that, their way of leading, their way of leadership is to create freedom and also democracy. On the other hand, in the same sector, the people of Ensemble pour le Changement, which is the group which is behind Moses Katumbi. This group of supporters of Moses Katumbi have said, for them, they will continue to fight. They will continue to stand till the government will recognize, will accept to include all the political actors in this election, and also to make the election to be credible, to be an election which is fair and transparent. They said that without Katumbi, that was a memorandum, a declaration that they said yesterday, without Katumbi, Moses Katumbi in this election, the people of Ensemble pour le Changement, they are not going to participate for this election. So they want Katumbi to be present, they want Katumbi to participate, they want Katumbi to be allowed to be one of the candidates for the presidential, because they chose Katumbi as their representative. In the same area of the presidential election which is coming, the general secretary of UDPS, the political part of Tshisekedi, Jean-Marc Kabund, he has also said that, look, we know there is a issue with a credibility for this electoral process. So it will be good if you can think about that voting machine, if you can look about all the process in general and make sure things are clean and clear before we go to the election. Otherwise, it will be very challenging, it will be hard to participate to this election. So that's the news for today, but I will do a little bit of comment where I will try a little bit to do some type of analysis, information. I will analyze the information to try to think about what Tshisekedi said, and I won't just focus on what Tshisekedi said, but I will try to share my viewpoint for all the opposition, you know, what the opposition has been doing now and where are we going. During this for analyzing, I will say that, you know, the majority, the presidential majority, or the group behind Kabila, Joseph, have said on several occasions that we are going to the elections and we are going to win. They have promised to the population of the Congo that they are the winners of this election. And on the other hand, the opposition are not talking about winning the election, but they have been insisting every time about transparency for the election. They have been insisting that, you know, the election is strict. They have been insisting that everything has been prepared for the candidate of the those who are in the government to win the election. However, although those challenges have been there, although they've been talking about those issues, those of the opposition, no one listens to them, no one respects what they say, no one even has the time to stop and think about it. From the side of the government or CENI, which is the entity which is dealing with organizing the elections. It's true that CENI is under the law of Kabila. Kabila is the one who dictates CENI. The government gives the laws to CENI. Whatever Kabila says, that's what CENI also does. And the opposition knows it very well. We, the population of the Congo, we also know it very well. It's clear and clean. So far, Kabila doesn't hide his position to show to the population of the Congo that he's going to trick the election. He hasn't refuted that idea that, you know, treachery or again, dodging the election is a part of the game. They clearly, you know, they don't deny it whenever people talk about it. They don't reject that option. And everybody knows that we are going to the election, but all they mean for forgery, all they mean for treachery, all they mean for dodging us were prepared by the government. In occurrence, we are talking about those voting machines which were tricked. The government so far said those who will come to observe, the observers, they don't need them. They don't allow international observers to come to the Congo to assist to the elections. They don't allow, SADC also tried to recommend Thabo Mbeki, the former president of South Africa, to come and participate, to talk to the government and the opposition for this process, electoral process. But the government rejected him. They rejected that proposition. There are several things that we have already talked about, which proves black on white that the election is so far corrupt. The election is so far corrupt. And if the Congolese will go to the election, the only result will be for Kabila to win the election. Or again, we won't reach the election, but we'll end up by having a war. The war will break down the process and everything will stop. Insecurity is everywhere around the country. Many things have been happening here and there. Killings, kidnappings, and demonstrations everywhere. Famine is beating people up. Poverty continues to increase and nothing works. The country has collapsed. The country actually is underneath maybe the ground, I would say. And all of this is seen by everybody, Congolese people and foreigners. Those who live outreach, those who listen to the news, those who watch the news, they know exactly. Those who are interested in the Congo, they know exactly what has been taking place in the Congo. The situation is chaotic. Congo is crossing the red line actually, where we don't know what the future holds for the Congo, but we can see another swimming pool of blood ahead in the coming few weeks or months in the Congo. The situation is scary. We know many women were raped, but maybe there will be now more than what we know yesterday. Many people lost their lives. It was maybe 10 million, 16 million. Maybe this time it will be the double of that, because the situation is going from bad to worse. So we people of the Congo, we shouldn't really stay in a la-la dream, or in a la-la land, as we say, in a dream of thinking that, okay, election is coming, then we are going to win against Kabila or against the government which is in power. They have taken all their precautions, they have taken all the methods that they want to use in order to win the election. So now, if we know that the election is tricked, if we know that observers don't have the right to come and observe, if we know that we cannot even reach some corners of the Congo in order to campaign for the elections due to insecurity, if we know that there is not even enough budget to organize these elections, only 35% of the budget is available for the election, how are we going to decide and to say, let us go to the election, while all the signal, all the signs have proven to us that it's almost impossible for the elections to be held? So it's a dream that we are trying to create, or we are trying maybe to make it to become reality, saying that we are going to elections in such horrible conditions. These conditions will lead us to death, will lead our people to death, will lead to a war, will lead to many calamities that we cannot list. The list can be longer, as long as you can imagine. For that reason, I believe that we people of the Congo, we should now maybe wake up and remember that, okay, the person who is organizing the elections actually is a president illegal. I mean, he has been there illegally, as you know, and he does not so far want to leave the power. He has said it on several occasions. He doesn't want to quit the power. Then he's the one who has been organizing the elections. So what do we think? If he's an election organizer and himself he wants to continue to be in control, what can we expect? For him to organize a fair election? I doubt it. He will never do so. He will never do so. Because for him, he wants to stay in power. He wants to stay in control. He created this movement that they call FCC. And this movement, which is composed by several political parties who are behind him, who want to support him, who were bribed, he bought them to be behind him. And those people all together, they've agreed with governors, all the 26 governors of the 26 provinces in the Congo, are members of, of the FCC. They signed in front of cameras to agree that they become members of FCC. Major political actors, major ministers, many people from different political parties in the Congo are behind Kabila now. Yesterday they were in the opposition, today they are with him. Many professors, intellectuals, many people who have got a brain, if you allow me the term, they are behind Kabila to support him and his ideology, which is a rotten one. And those people, they are fighting. They have been fighting so hard, but they have been using all the possible strategies, evil or good, in order for Kabila to remain in power. We Congolese, we know that. The world also is informed about that. So now, if everybody is aware of that, and we know that we are going to the election, why to go to this election where we know that we are going to be defeated? We know already that our defeat is there, but why are we moving forward toward it? Maybe things should be settled first. Because they say this machine, I mean those computers which will be used for the election are tricked. Kabila doesn't allow those who are programmers to review those softwares and fix them, just to check if nothing dodgy was installed in those computers. And they say if you people of the Congo reject those machines, then there will never and ever be any elections in the Congo. So you have to accept, you have to admit, you have to be behind our ideas, we people of Seni, we people of Kabila, to go to the election with those machines. It's like you give me a glass of wine, and in that wine you add, without hiding to me, you add some drops or a few centiliters of acid, of poison in it, and you say, look, this is poison, I put it in the glass to you now to drink. How am I going to drink that? Even if I'm a fan of wine, I should think twice. I shouldn't say that let me take the wine, then I'll rush to the hospital, or I'll call for the ambulance to come and rescue me. Things may go wrong. And this is the same situation where the opposition, the population of the Congo, understand clearly that everything is tricky now. Everything has been corrupted now. Everything is dodgy at this minute. OIF, which is, Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, it's a, Francophonie International Organization, they have written a memorandum to say these are the mistakes, these are the problems with the elections which are coming in the Congo. And there are several things which need to be looked at, fixed, repaired before people go to vote. None of those things so far has been fixed. We have got wars everywhere, rebellious movement all over the country. People have been killing each other like flies all over the country. How are we going to campaign, as I said, while there are troubles everywhere? Even if today those leaders of the opposition will say, okay, let's go for the election. How are you going to do your elections? Your campaigning in North Kivu, maybe in South Kivu, maybe in Kasai, with Kamwina Sampu here, with the Mai there, and so on and so forth. It will be almost impossible with the insecurity that the country has been crossing to campaign for the elections. Road conditions also are not something to desire in the Congo. How are we going to reach the electors, the voters? It will be almost impossible. It requires maybe a miracle. Communication is poor, no electricity, conditions of voting, we don't even, we don't have those conditions together. Even to run a computer, I know places in the Congo where electricity doesn't even exist. I know places in Congo where you can not say, okay, let us just fly there with an helicopter, then we'll give them 10 computers with a few, people who can help them to teach them how to vote electronically, because they have never even seen a TV. We are in the 21st century. There are places in Congo where a TV has never been seen. A TV was created around 1949, but now, at the moment, there are people who have never and ever seen a TV. Then present to them a computer and ask them to vote through the computer. For them, they will believe that it's just like a toy, touch here, an image of someone appears, touch here, they will laugh, they will find it like a joke while they are killing their own lives. So it is easy to trick those people. Many people who live in the villages, they have never seen a computer screen, they have never seen a TV. Where are we going with this? However, the people of the opposition, as I said before, I may say that somehow they are a little bit maybe divided. As also Felix Tshisekedi said, by preaching his militant, telling them you have to love members of other political parties of the opposition. That's a strong message to remind them that, there is hatred maybe among you. There are divisions among you. You should stop that and become members of one family. And I will stick on to that by saying that in the opposition there is a division, if not hatred, if not maybe a disorganization, but there is somehow division among them. Those leaders of the opposition, they don't work, they don't stand in the same room. There is a big misunderstanding among some of them, or between them. There are those who don't trust in each other. They don't trust in each other, I would say. And also, their political parties are just like rivals. Everybody wants to stick on his gun. I belong to MLC. I belong to UDPS. I belong, I don't know, to UNC. I belong to MLC. I belong to such and such political party. And that is me. And all of them want to be the leaders of the country. We have got only one position. It is to become a president of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. One seat. But so far we have got 18 leaders of the opposition who are fighting for that one seat. The presidential majority, which is composed also of several political parties, they have presented to us one candidate, a single person who represents all of them. But on the block of the opposition now, where Camero was suggesting they should have one candidate for all of them, they are unable to come up with one candidate. UDPS want Tshisekedi to be their candidate. MLC want Jean-Pierre Bemba to be their candidate. Ensemble pour le Changement want Katumbi to be their candidate. UNC want also Camero to be their candidate. And so far we see now we have got 18 people, 18 people who want to stand against one. Don't we see that our voices will be divided among 18 candidates rather than being all of them given to one single person? Who should bring those leaders of the opposition, who should bring the opposition together in order to have that unity and stand against one candidate of the presidential majority? Who should really stand and bring those people together in order to at least to think? Although we can say, the major political party of the opposition are just those 6 that you call the bulldozer of the opposition, but we don't have to forget that the other small parties of the opposition also, they have got a number of people, or they have got somehow people who are behind them who can vote for them. There can be 10,000, there can be 600 people, there can be even 100 people, there can even be 5 people. 5 people will make the difference in the election. So all of that together is taking us to a step where we can see, before even the election arrives, we can see how we are losing the game. We can see how we are going so far, we can see how so far we are going to sink, to disappear, but we continue to tell the people, come and let's go to vote. What are we going to vote for, and who are we going to vote for? Mobutu, although Mobutu was a bad guy, Mobutu was a dictator, Mobutu was he was just, one of the worst presidents of this planet, of the 20th century, as you know. But in his speeches, if you listen, if you follow his speeches, he had the very, very good messages in almost all his speeches. He didn't act properly, but behind his speeches, we can learn a lot. And Mobutu once he said, we never give away the power. The power is not something that you have just to give to people. People must come and take it by force from you. This is a powerful message. And he continued and he said, look, my head will cost a lot. My head is not cheap. Meaning that you have to kill me first before you take the power. And Kabila, Joseph Kabila, who has been there illegally since 2016, also he repeated the same by saying, you want the power, you want Kabila to leave the power, you have to put a bullet in his head. That's a message. What do you want to understand or to hear again? He has told you, I've got those machines, electoral machines, which are there and they are tricked. I've got my people who are leading Seni, who are the organizers of the elections. They are behind me. I've got that a court of appeal that I prepared for these elections. I mean, he has done everything that he can in order to continue to control and to be the leader of the country. The point is that the FCC, that a group of those, political parties who are behind him, they choose him as their moral chief, their moral person. Meaning that tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, even if we go to the election and Shadari wins, Shadari may become sick, something may come up, and Kabila may decide. Those political parties tomorrow can say, look, because we also represent the population of the Congo, the population say we don't want Shadari to be the candidate. Our people say that Kabila is the only candidate that we want. And because that's the voice of the population, what can the opposition say? And Kabila may represent himself to this election. It's not late yet, but let us see how the game will be played. And Mobutu said, look, you have sometimes to take the power by force. We have heard from several people saying that the opposition has got an army. People of the opposition are here and there with their troops. They have got this and that. If the election doesn't work, then there will be a war. We shouldn't wait till the election comes because the elections will not take place. The people of the Congo have been suffering now for years, more than 20 years of suffering. And this election won't take place. There is 90% of chance which proves that this election won't be a good election. Either it won't be transparent, either it won't be credible, and all of that will lead to a war. That's the finality of the things. And as you know, for those who don't maybe understand, if you look clearly, you'll see that the problem is not Kabila himself. But behind Kabila, there are also those who surround him. And those who surround him are not only Congolese people who have been working with Kabila. Behind those people are also, behind the curtains, if you want, we have got also some countries. Those who benefit from looting the Congo. Those who take whatever they can take from the Congo. They exist. And we know the game. We know, we have read about it. People have been writing a lot. People have been publishing a lot of things on the internet and elsewhere. All of those people behind the scene, they are fighting this election. They are standing against this election because if the election move forward, automatically they will also lose their piece of cake. They will lose their stake. If Kabila goes, if the system of Kabila collapses, those countries, those friends of Kabila, those who come to loot our country, they will become losers. Therefore, they put their strength together. They are fighting together in order to continue to benefit from our country. Many people will tell me, look, Congo is occupied so far. Congo has been occupied by foreigners. Congo has been occupied by other countries. But for me, I would say that Congo is not only occupied. Congo has been taken away from us. Because when we talk about occupation, it's like, someone is just occupying it for some time, then he will leave or she will leave. But the stage where we are going now, they are trying now to remove a portion of the Congo to belong to other nations. You know that. They are trying to make sure Congo has lost its land and that land can become a new nation. It's not a matter of occupation anymore. We should look deeper. Behind this scenario, what is going to happen? It's not an occupation, but it is a matter of taking away our country. And don't tell me that cannot happen. We have seen the example of Sudan. Sudan today is split in two. Is that a clear example? Sudan today, is split in two. We have got now South Sudan and North Sudan. Two different countries, two different presidents. Why was that done so? They may tell you, okay, because we wanted to bring peace in Sudan, because Sudan has been in a war for several times. To bring peace, we were supposed to split it in two. For how long now Congo doesn't have peace? For how many years now Congo has been living without peace? They may also tell you to bring peace, the East and the West should be separated. I think you get the message. So when we talk about occupation, it's just something which is surfacing. But underneath it, there is something which is bigger, scary, and which continues to shake not only the mind, but the heart of Congolese, the lives of this generation and of the coming generation or generations. We Congolese, we shouldn't continue to dream, believing that, okay, our neighbors will help us, SADC will help us, international opinion or people of the international community will help the Congo to give us what we need. We have, first of all, to stand ourselves, then their support will come toward us. As I said in the French version of this news, we have seen the United States of America intervening maybe in the war around Iraq. They intervened in the war in different countries. France intervened in the war in Libya. They sent their jets. They sent their soldiers on the ground. And they didn't keep silence. You know, they started to alert, first of all, the government of those countries. We are coming to attack you. This is a ultimatum. You must stop. Otherwise, we'll come to attack. And America went to Iraq. We all know the situation of Saddam Hussein. We know France, he went to Libya. We all know the situation in Libya. We know America actually have been fighting in Syria. We know all the situation. And Afghanistan and many countries. They don't hide their regiment. They don't hide that we have soldiers. They speak it loudly. Why do Congolese opposition, members of the opposition, if really they have got soldiers, they have got regiment, why to not speak loudly? Why doesn't America intervene in the same way that they intervened in other countries in order to remove Kabila to power, as they did with Saddam Hussein, for example? Why don't they intervene the same way that they have been intervening now in Syria in order to help the people of the Syria? Why France doesn't intervene in the Congo the same way he intervened and put Muammar Gaddafi outside of Libya? We can see there are a lot of whys there which need a because. So if war should take place, and if really those who are the leaders of the opposition, those, I mean, we have been heard a lot. If those soldiers existed, this is a time for those soldiers to stand and to proclaim clearly, we are here for a fighting, we are here to remove Kabila for the power and move ahead. Instead of the leaders of the opposition continue to pull people and say, look, let's go to the elections, and we know that the election is corrupt, we know that the election will never win, it will end up to be a terrible disappointment. And we don't want to continue to see all Congolese fleeing the Congo, leaving the country, and finally those who want now to loot, they will loot properly. Those who want to, not to occupy, but those who want to take away Congo, they will be able to take it away because everybody has run away. Everybody has left the country. Therefore, my brethren, my brothers and sisters who live abroad, I will invite you to continue your fighting, to fight wherever you are. Speak loudly. Stand up. Stand for your right. Stand for the right of your country, the Republic Democratic of the Congo. My way of standing is to speak to you now. This is my way. You have got also another way. Speak to others. You have got, if you are a soldier, you know what to do, how to do it. Go for it. If you have some contact, you have some people that you know, this is a time to do it. Because those who are maybe somewhere there, those who are behind our leaders in our villages, maybe they don't understand, they don't know, they are not even informed. As you know, some places in the Congo, they don't have access to the internet, they don't have access to water, they don't have access to electricity, they don't have access to almost what we call mean of communication. It's not a surprise. We all know that. So we should do something. And because opposition, the leaders of the opposition know that this election will end up in a disaster, it will be a chaotic election if it will take place, they should do something now. This is a time maybe to say, okay, we don't want the election anymore. Let us go maybe for a transition without Kabila. Let's maybe take that option of going to the transition without Kabila. And I've suggested to you, as people did in several countries in Maghreb, in Egypt, for example, the population stood up. The leaders of the opposition talked to their militants, their members, and they said, look, such day, such time, all together, this is where we are going to go, and we will never go back home until the president resigns. And he resigned. So all of that was done because his opposition was unified. They were together. They were in unity. But our opposition here doesn't seem like, working in unity. They don't speak the same voice. Everybody is fighting among all the 18 to become the president of the DRC. How are you going to become a president where there is no peace, there is no unity, the country is divided, the country is really, really collapsing? And of course, if you don't pay attention, you leaders of the opposition, you may end up to be killed like Lumumba. Because somehow, those who come to loot, they will believe, okay, these people have been stopping us, they have been destroying our plan. Better for them to disappear in order for us to act and to continue to do our things as we want. And we don't need to lose you. We need you in this fight. We need you to stand. So as you have engaged in this fight, engage yourself at 100%. Engage yourself for it at 100%, at maximum level. If you put just 30% or 40% of your engagement in this business, you may end up tomorrow to be crucified. As you know, this is a world, the world of politics, world in which, money comes first, world where everybody wants to gain as much as possible they can. And if it's necessary to take you away for their interest, those looters will do it. So members of the opposition, you have to know that your position is not only within the Congo, but also somewhere else. You know that very well. And you can't please everybody, but your shield, whatever protects you today, is not those leaders, are not those looters, but the population of the Congo. If today you can stand and the population stand by your side, no one will touch you. But if you let the population succumb and you put yourself on the other side, then you'll be unprotected. So protect the people of the Congo, then your protection is guaranteed. You don't protect their interest, you don't protect their lives, then you expose yourselves. I believe that you get what I'm saying. I believe that you understand what I'm saying. Wars are broken down every time in the Congo. We have heard that the people of FDLR, which was known as an army which was fighting in Rwanda, they wanted to free Rwanda from the Tutsi power from around the 90s. Those people, this week, they have stood up in North Kivu and they have been attacking. They have wounded several soldiers of FARDC. They have killed 2 civilians without reason. And the war is there. So you can imagine that group of, that rebellious movement from Rwanda around the early 90s, 91, I think. Today, now, they come up from nowhere in the Congo and they want, of course, they have been there in small zones. Now they stand up and they start a war in the Congo. Look how Kabila has been playing with our minds. I saw other photos here circulating on the internet, Kabila of cows. He went to greet, Rwandan people, Tutsi people who are shepherds. And I'm like, this is another distraction. If Kabila pose, I mean, takes a photo of a Rwanda and a Tutsi, what does it mean? Who does not know that Kabila is a Tutsi himself? We all know that. We are informed about it. That is just a distraction. Because he knows very well that, okay, by taking a photo of Tutsi, Congolese people are just like, you know, Kabila is a Tutsi. Look now, this is the proof. All of us will forget a little bit to talk about the necessary, the essential thing, and our mind will go to those futilities, distraction. And whenever you abuse Kabila, saying Rwandan, Kabila, your name is Kanambe, what does it change to him? Of course, he's Rwandan, he must be proud of his nationality. It changes nothing. Calling him Kanambe means nothing. Calling him Rwandan means nothing. That's not the fight. The fight is to remove Kabila and the system which has put him in place. The fight is not calling him names. For that reason now, he stood up nearby those shepherds with their cows and he called photographers, come and take photos. If it was something serious, he would never accept for a photographer to take such a photo. So we have to think, we Congolese, why did he expose himself? Tell photographers, okay, take a photo of me with those people who have been looking after cows, those Tutsi fighters who have been here with cows, and let the photo to go everywhere around the world. That is a distraction. You know, that is just playing with our mind. We are not children. We should understand. We should have a focus. I used to have one professor while I was young, and he used to tell us at the time of Zaire, he used to say, you Zairean people, you know everything, but most of the time you forgot what is essential. And of course, we can see that the essential, sometimes you forget it. If you speak Lingala, okay, automatically you are from Central Africa, automatically you are from Brazzaville. If you speak Kiswahili, you are from maybe South Kivu or North Kivu, you are Rwandan. If you speak Kiswahili, you are from Katanga, you are Zambian, you are Tanzanian. So finally, where are we going? Things which don't have any meaning, those are that we put forward and we stick on them. Because I'm Muluba, I must be in a political party called UDAPS because Tshisekedi is a Muluba. Because I'm a Mukongo, I must be with Martin Fayulu because Fayulu is a Mukongo. Where are we going with those type of things? So Kabila has been playing with people, distracting people to the point that today we don't look anymore on all the points that OEF wrote for us. What is missing for the coming elections? People now are focusing only the presidential election is coming 23rd of December 2018. We have to go to the polls. We have to vote. That's all. But you forget the process. We are in a la-la land. We are just dreaming. We forget the process which is cumbersome. The process which is a very important, complicated one. How are we going to reach that date, do those elections, if the preparations are worse, are tricky, are traps for us, for our people? And you leaders of the opposition, you have to remember, behind you have got 100 million Congolese. So if you lead them, because you are like a shepherd who leads maybe the flock, if you lead your flock in a wrong direction, then the flock will just follow you. As consequence, you can see millions of lives on your shoulders. When Kabila came, Laurent Kabila with AFDL, sorry, many people were raped. Many women were raped in the Kivu. This time it will be maybe double or 3 times than that. More than 10 million people were killed. This time it will be more than that. And they tricked Kabila at the time, Laurent Désiré Kabila, FDL, as we used to call it. But behind the FDL, there were a bunch of other people, of other countries, of other nationalities. And Kabila was just there like a sticker. And the same trick is taking place again. Can't we learn from the history? Can't we learn really from the past? The history of our own country can teach us a lot without referring to other countries. It really brings tears to eyes. Our hearts are bleeding. Our mind are squashed by what the world, the enemy of the Congo, has been put in our lives, in the lives of ours, by destroying completely our country. And we won't repeat for 1 year or in 1 year or 10 years. If we collapse and we fail now, consequences will be there for several years. Note that consequences will be there for several years, maybe for centuries. And why am I saying that? As you know, because the slavery has gone, political slavery has gone, independence was given to our country, but there is now an economic slavery, as I'm talking about every time. Now, there is another type of colonization which is coming, it's economic colonization. And this colonization which is coming is stronger than the political one, because China will come to fetch money, another country will come to fetch some money, another country will come for mineral, another country will come for this. You know, everybody wants to bite as much as they can bite, and that is without forgiveness. And who should say no? It's not the international community, it's you who is watching me now and me who is speaking. May God help the Congo. Let the Congo stay one united, strong country. May God bless you, the person who is watching me. May God bless me, the person who has been talking. And together, in unity and love, we will help the Congo. So stand for your right. Stand on your feet to defend your country, to defend your land. Otherwise, the country is not only occupied, but the country will be taken away from you and me. Thank you very much for your time, for the 60 minutes that you have given to me to listen to this story, to listen to this message. We can pray for the Congo, that's one, but we have also to stand and fight for the Congo. You are not only fighting for you, only for your family, but for your land and for the coming generations. Remember that. Don't say that, okay, if I live here today, I will go and find maybe another place, another country where I can live. And after I die, that's it. I've prepared the life of my children, but you didn't prepare the country for the coming generation. Israel has taught us a lot. They are back today to their land. So your land is very important. Take it seriously. Write that in your mind. Write that in your heart. Love your country. Love your nation. Love your people. And that's a sign of victory. Thank you very much. And I will talk to you again next time.